Hello, my wonderful friends. Magus with you on a beautiful day in Asha. If you find yourself frustrated, find yourself confused by this world, maybe you've gone to churches trying to find answers in truth and they weren't to be found there. Maybe you've gone on the internet and YouTube and you find these videos that promise you enlightenment, but they don't offer anything. They give the stories, but there's nothing at the end. People trying to part you from your money and your time, but never offering you anything. And today, my friends, I'm going to offer you a gift. I'm going to give you the gift of the Magi. What is the gift of the Magi? It is the real, above all real. It is truth and it is magic, my friends. It's the magic of the Magi and of the Christ and of the Masters. I'm going to give you a language that you can actually use today to actually create magic in your life. I want to share a story with you before we get to that. I want to share a story of a being before they came to time and space. And the loving Father called this one young one. And this being was the apple of his eye, the love of his life. And young one loved adventure, and he wanted to go to the world of shapes and form and matter. For this one had seen that the world was losing its way. They had created a God that hated and warred and killed. They got jealous, my friends. And young one knew in his heart of hearts, and he could see with divine wisdom that he could go into time, space, and change the hearts of mankind and bring the truth. And young one had noticed that they had lost the language, that the dark system and the matrix had actually taken away the words, so they could therefore take away the understanding of truth. And young one, not exactly arrogant, but confident, said, "Father, send me. I want to go. I know I can do this." And my friends, that's a story I want to share with you. The story of the young one and his message. And I'm going to actually give you the language that you can use today. And my friends, I've shared the stories with you. Saving my own son, saving my friend with this language of angels, my friends, because it speaks truth. And the truth is a burning fire that removes the lie and illusion, my friends. When the situation looks hopeless with sickness and disease, and you speak truth, which is health and divine life, my friends, the disease disappears. When all seems lost and impossible, you speak that heavenly language, that word of truth. And my friends, you find nothing is impossible. This is from Beauty for Ashes. It says, "When I was a little child in my father's palace and enjoyed the wealth and luxury of those who nurtured me, my parents equipped me with provisions and sent me out from the east, our homeland. From the wealth of our treasury they gave me a great burden, which was light so that I could carry it by myself. Gold from the land above, silver from great treasuries, and stones, chalcedonies of India, and agates from Kushan. And they girded me with steel, and they took away from me the garment set with gems and spangled with gold, which they had made out of love for me. and the yellow robe which was made for my size. And they made a covenant with me, and they wrote it on my heart of hearts that I might not forget. If you go down to Egypt and bring the one pearl which is in the land of the devouring serpent, you shall put on again that garment set with stones and the robe which lies over it. And with your brother, our next in command, you shall be a herald of our kingdom. So I departed from the east on a difficult and frightening road, led by 2 guides, and I was so very young to travel on it. I passed over the borders of Mosani, where there is the meeting place of the merchants of the east, and reached the land of the Babylonians. I went down to Egypt, and my companions parted from me. I went straight to the serpent, and I stayed near his den, until he should slumber and sleep, so that I might take the pearl from him. Being alone, I altered my appearance and seemed an alien even to my own people. But I saw one of my kinsmen there, a free-born man from the east, a youth fair and beautiful, the son of the courtiers. He came and kept me company, and I made him my intimate friend, a comrade with whom I had communicated my business. Being exhorted to guard against the Egyptians and against the partaking of unclean things, I clothed myself in garments like theirs, so I would not be seen as a stranger and as one who had come from abroad to take the pearl, lest the Egyptians might arouse the serpent against me. But somehow they learned that I was not their countryman, and they dealt with me treacherously. And I tasted their food, and I no longer recognized that I was a king's son, and I served their king. I forgot the pearl for which my parents had sent me, and I fell into a deep sleep because of the heaviness of their food. And while I was suffering these things, my parents were aware of it, and they grieved over me. And a proclamation was heralded in our kingdom that all should present themselves at our doors. The king of Parthia and those in office and the great men of the east resolved that I should not be left in Egypt. So the courtiers wrote me a letter. From your father, the king of kings, and your mother, the mistress of the east, to our son in Egypt, greetings, awake and rise from your sleep. Listen to the words in this letter. Remember, you are a son of the king. You have fallen beneath the yoke of slavery. Remember your gold-spangled garment. Recall the pearl for which you were sent to Egypt. Your name has been called to the book of life together with that of your brother, whom you have received in our kingdom. And the king sealed it to make it an ambassador. And I rose from sleep when I recognized its voice. I took it up and I kissed it and I read it. And what was written concerned that which was engraved on my heart of hearts. And I immediately remembered that I was the son of a king and that my freedom demanded my people. I remembered the pearl for which I had been sent to Egypt and the fact that I had come to snatch it from the terrifying serpent. I subdued it by calling out my father's name. And I snatched the pearl, and I turned about to go to my parents. And I took off the dirty clothing and left it behind in their land. And I directed my way forthwith to the light of our eastern home. And on the road I found a female who lifted me up, and she awakened me, giving me an oracle with her voice, and guided me to the light. Their royal silken garments shone before my eyes, and with familiar love leading me and drawing me on, I passed the labyrinth, and leaving behind Babylon behind on the left, I reached Messene, which is a great coast, but I could not recall my splendor, for it had been a long time back when I was just still a child and quite young that I had left it at my father's palace. But suddenly when I saw my garment reflected as in a mirror, I perceived it in my whole self as well. For though we originated from the one and the same, we were partially divided. Then again we were one with a single form. The treasurers to who had brought the garment I saw as two beings, but there existed a single form in both, one royal symbol consisting of two halves, and they had my money and my wealth in their hand, and they gave me my reward in a fine garment of glorious colors, which was embroidered with gold, precious stones, and pearls to give a good appearance. And it was fastened at the collar, and the image of the King of Kings was all over it, and stones of lapis lazuli had been skillfully fixed into the collar. And I saw in turn that motions of knowledge were stirring through it, and that it was prepared to speak. And then I heard it speak. It was I who belonged to the one who was stronger than all people, and for whose sake I was written about by the Father himself. And I took note of my stature, and all the royal feelings rested on me. As its energy increased, thrust out by his hand, the garment hastened to me as I went to receive it, and a longing aroused me to rush and meet it and receive it. And I stretched out, and I took it and adorned myself with the beauty of its colors, and I covered myself completely with my royal robe. When I had put it on, I ascended to the land of peace and homage, and I lowered my head and I prostrated myself before the splendor of the Father who had sent it to me. For it was I who had obeyed his commands, and it was I who also had kept the promise. And I mingled at the doors of his ancient royal building, and he took delight in me and received me into his palace. Oh, my friends, Magus, Isis, Jesus, Horus, Asha is, peace is, divine life is, my friends. Do you remember who you are? Do you remember where you came from? Do you remember why you are here? My friends, I'm going to share with you the words that Spirit himself gave to me, that I put up that shield of faith that I told you that protected my son. I'm going to give you the words that Spirit spoke to me, that when my friend was about to be abducted and raped, the men froze like statues. Because we are here to return the light, for we are sons and daughters of the great white light. My friends, repeat after me. Yeshe lokom yandolosa. Yeshe lokom yandolosa. Say it with feeling. Yeshe lokom yandolosa. Now, my friends, I want you to breathe with me, and we're going to bring this energy of spirit and life into our bodies. And my friends, this energy, it rejuvenates your very body and your cells. And this energy, this light, it runs out sickness and disease and lie and illusion and shame and fear and hate and greed, for it is light and it is life. I want you to breathe in, see this energy coming up your spine, reaching the crown, and then immediately going back down. I want you to see it as a rhythm, as a circuit. There's no break. There's no pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. It is one. It's the two becoming one. God and man, one, my friends. Breathe in and out. And feel that energy going up and down your spine. And speak with authority. Yeshelokam yun dolosa. And now, my friends, I want you to build on that language. Let that energy and that wisdom come from spirit and build on it. Yeshelokam yun dolosa. Mosha laka yamboloka anderebosa. And let it flow, my friends. And let that heavenly language, that vibration, that word, bring into truth, into form and matter, my friends, on the earth. The highest truth, the real above all real, my friends, that burns away the dark system, the matrix, their religions with gods that hate, war, and kill, their systems and their politics, my friends, that keep people bound. And we're going to break free with our language and with our magic and with our power as we have remembered who I am. My friends, share this message with as many as you can and let your light shine. And we're going to change this world. 9 is the magic. 9 is the gift of the Magi. I love you. I love you. I love you.